it is given one activity inside the post office. Go to the counter, mark money order. You know what is money order? In which you can send money. Buy a money order form by paying 50 paisa to the person behind the counter, and fill the appropriate boxes in the form, that is in block letters. Pay the counter clerk the amount of money to be sent along the charges, and take back the money order, acknowledgement, counterfoil for your record. That is the receipt you will get from the counter. See here on next page, this is the money order. It look like pay rupees, whom do you want to send, and pin number, rupees, whatever these columns are, you have to fill this and send it to the receiver. See here the lesson begins. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. See here, the only house is there in the entire valley, who is sitting on the crest in the low hill. From the height he could see the river and the field of ripe corn, bhutte ki kheti, corn dotted with the flowers, that always promised a good harvest, that always promised the good harvest of corn. The only thing the earth needed was the downpour, or at least a shower. Shower means the rain, a downpour means a rain. Only that needed, the earth needed the shower, the rain from God. Throughout the morning, Lencho is the name of the farmer, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Intimately is quite closely acquainted. Who knew his field is closely acquainted, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast, can only see the sky of the northeast. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. What Lencho said here, we will really going to get some water. The woman who was preparing supper means dinner, replied, yes, God willing, God will give, it's God willing. The older boys were working in the field, and the older boys, the elder ones, are working in the fields, while the smaller ones were playing near the house, until the woman called to them all. Okay, until the woman called them, come for dinner, or come inside, then only they will come, until they are playing outside. Come for dinner. It was during the meal that just as Lencho had predicted big drops. Now, what Lencho feel? The big drops of rain began to fall. At that time, the big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. Now, the huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. It is very near, it is approaching. The air was fresh, and because of the rain, the air was very fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. Now Lencho bahar gaya to feel the rains, to feel the drop of rains outside the house, rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, what he exclaimed? These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. ये बारिश की बूंदे नहीं हैं, ये नई coins है, new coins है. It is like a coins, it looks like coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces, and the little ones are 5s. He just what he said, that big drops are like 10-cent pieces, and the little ones are of 5-cent pieces. And these are the lines. See, it is what figure of speech is this? These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. It is pun. Okay, which figure of speech is this? That is pun. From here these aren't raindrops falling from the sky, these are new coins. These are the puns, which is directly compare with the coins. Okay. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers. He is satisfied. Satisfied expressions are coming from Lencho. He regarded the field of ripe crop with its flowers. Draped means covered. With the field is covered with flowers in a curtain of rains. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow. Now what happened? Suddenly बहुत तेज़ी से हवा चलने लगी, and along with the rain very large hailstone began to fall. Hailstone, what is hailstone? ओले, बर्फ के टुकड़े जो गिरते हैं. Hailstones, that is ice rain, began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. Now it's truly resemble new silver coins. The boys exposing themselves to the rain. Now the small boys expose themselves to the rain out to collect the frozen pearls. They just want to collect that frozen pearls from outside. It's really getting bad now. Why it is bad now? Because the hailstones just gives the bad. It destroyed the field of corns. That's why it is bad now. Who exclaimed it? Lencho. I hope it passes quickly. He just hoped it passes quickly from his field. It did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house. For an hour, आधे घंटे के लिए वो hailstones की बारिश होती रही. And the cornfield on the whole valley. The field was white. Now why the field was looking white? Because the field was looking white because of hailstone that are white in color. If the covered with salt, the field was white as if it covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the tree. Why the leaf? Why there is no leaf on any tree? Just because of hailstones. The corn was totally destroyed. Now the field was totally destroyed. The cornfield was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. Now Lencho was very sad. He became very sad. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field. And said to his son, a plague of locust would. A plague of locust means, what is the plague of locust? Locust is the insect which fly in big swarm in a group. He just eat the whole field in a time. So that is the only thing have left more than this. The plague of locust would have left more than this. They can live more than this, but the hailstone just destroyed all his crop from the field. The hail has left nothing, but the hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. What Lencho said? This year we will have no corns. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. Now we will all go hungry this year because the hailstone destroyed all our field. And that night was sorrowful one. All our work goes in vain and there is nothing to eat. We will go hungry this year. These are the lines what Lencho said. Okay, now here oral comprehension. What did Lencho hope for? Lencho hoped for the rain, a good rain, a shower. Why did Lencho say raindrops were like new coins? Because it looks like it is very similar to the coins. Big ones are the 10% pieces and the little ones are of 5. How did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's field? How did the rain change? means here he exclaimed, it is getting bad after that. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along the rain very large hailstone began to fall. And then he exclaimed, it's really getting bad now, and I hope, Lencho hoped here it passes quickly. But it did not pass quickly. For half an hour hail rained on the house, on the field, on the river. What were Lencho's feeling when the hail stopped? When the hail stopped, what Lencho feel here? Lencho was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son that the plague of locust would have left more than this, but the hail has left nothing in our field. We will go hungry this year. We had nothing to eat. We had no corns this year. That night was very sorrowful one. Okay, these are the 4 questions we discussed just now. But in the hearts of all who lived that solitary house in the middle of the valley, solitary means lonely, in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. There is only one hope. What is that one hope? That is help from God. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. Now what he realized, that no one goes hunger, no one dies of hunger. Don't be so upset, though it seems like a total loss, but there is God who will help us. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. Yeah, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only this one hope, that the help of God. The whole night, what Lencho's hope is that God will help, whose eyes, as he had instructed, see everything, even what is deep one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man. It is like a means when he works like an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields. Okay, his hard work is like an ox. He is working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following, how to read and how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak means at the time of sunrise, he began to write a letter, which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. He has just written a letter to God. All his problems in that letter, to let the God know about the problems, about the Lencho's problems. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. If you will not help me, I will go hungry and my family will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hailstone here, what he had written, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos. Pesos is the currency of several Latin American countries. That is the currency in Latin American countries. And I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes. Okay, because the hailstorm. And then he just written, continue. He wrote to God on the envelope, and he wrote on the envelope to God. Who is the receiver of that letter? That is God. Put the letter inside, and still troubled went to town. And he is in trouble when he went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter. And dropped it into the mailbox. And he just dropped that letter into the mailbox to send to God. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss, laughing heartily. He was laughing heartily, बहुत उसको हंसी आ रही थी, and showed him the letter to God. And he just showed his boss a letter to God. Never in his career a postman had he known that address. Never in his career he don't know that address. He had first time that type of address in the letter. The postmaster, a fat, amiable means very friendly and pleasant. That is the meaning of amiable. fellow, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, and that boss, his boss, is also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious, and after that he just turned serious on and tapping the letter on his desk commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." What he commented here, what a faith is this! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter. I also want this faith of the man who wrote this letter to God, starting up a correspondence with God. He just started up a correspondence with God. So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Now the postmaster came up with an idea that answer the God. We have to answer it as a God, but when he opened it, it was evident that to answer he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. When he opened his letter, he just read it, and what he find out that not only a goodwill to answer this letter, not only a goodwill, he just need not only a goodwill, ink or paper, he just needs something more to answer this letter. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money. Some from his employees. He himself gave a part of his salary, and several friends were obliged to give something for an act of charity. All has just collect some money. He himself given some part of his salary, कुछ part उसने अपनी salary का दिया, and then several friends, सब जो जितना जिसका हो सकता है as a act of charity सब लोग उसमें collect करेंगे. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos. Gather together 100 pesos. It is very difficult to collect 100 pesos. So he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. Only a little more than half means आधे से थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही collection हो पाया. And then he just sent to the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope. They just put the money in an envelope to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. Only there is a signature of God on the envelope of the letter. Okay. Now who or what did Lencho have faith in? What did he do? Lencho have only faith in God, and he just wrote a letter to God for 100 pesos. Who read the letter? Postmaster read the letter. What did the postmaster do then? Postmaster read the letter, and they just coming with an idea that we have to collect some money as a act of charity and send to that man. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. Lencho came early on Sunday, a bit early, and he just usual to ask that if there was a letter for him. It was the postmaster himself who handed the letter to him. Postmaster handed a letter to him, while the postmaster experiencing the contentment of the, what is contentment? Contentment is satisfaction. The postmaster is experiencing the satisfaction of a man who has performed a good deed. Means we are helping someone looked on from his office. They are all content, they are all satisfied to give that letter to Lencho. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. उसने ज़रा सा भी सरप्राइज नहीं दिखाया लेंचो ने. Such was his confidence. ये उसका कॉन्फिडेंस था कि गॉड को हेल्प करना ही है. दैट इज़ द फेथ इन गॉड. बट ही बिकेम एंग्री. नाउ ही बिकेम एंग्री. वाई? When he counted the money, he became angry. God could not have made a mistake. God तो मिस्टेक कर नहीं सकते. Nor could he have denied, और वो मना भी नहीं कर सकते मनी के लिए. But Lencho लेंचो ही हैड रिक्वेस्टेड, जो लेंचो ने रिक्वेस्ट किया था, गॉड विल नेवर could not have made that mistake, nor he have denied Lencho. What happened then? Immediately Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. Again he just want to ask a paper and ink. On the public writing table he started to write, and he started to write on that table, on the public writing table, with some wrinkling of his brow. Wrinkling means to make fold, or surprised, or confused, or in anger of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. Now Lencho is expressing his ideas with that ink and paper. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope. And he just affixed to the envelope. He is in anger mood, so he just licked that ticket stamp and affixed to the envelope with the blow of his fist. Why he is a blow of his fist? Because he is writing in anger. And why he is in anger? Because the money was less. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. And when the moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster wanted to open and read it. It said, "God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me." What he asked God for at first time, 100 pesos, but only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. So बाकी का जो pesos है, 30 pesos, send me the rest, and because I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail, and don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. ये सब जो है cheaters हैं, crooks हैं. तो मुझे जो पैसे आप भेजोगे वो मेल से नहीं भेजना, because the employees are a bunch of crooks. And then he stopped with a name Lencho. Okay, so here we completed here oral comprehension. 2 questions are there. Was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? No, not at all, because he is very confident that God will send him money, what amount he want. What made him angry? Because he just only sees 70 pesos inside the envelope, but the rest 30 pesos are not there. That's why that made him angry.